Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. If you are returning to the channel, if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. Now that's out of the way, let's get to what the video is about today. I thought what I'd do is just give you all a bit of a brief overview of what I generally take with me when I'm going out shooting, whether it's deer stalking, foxing or rabbiting. This is just a quick overview of what I take. If anybody wants to know any more about anything that I've got, please just get in touch. Always welcome to have a chat with anybody about anything. So yeah, by all means, get in touch. First thing I normally take is this. This is the Manbilly tripod with the swivel head, obviously, and the saddle. There's a few reviews of this online kicking around. I was put onto this after seeing it on Predator Protection UK, and then I actually went and had a quick chat with Dave from the channel, saw it and was sold. Everyone's got their own opinion. I think from what I've seen personally and used one or two, this is the better one out of all of them that are out there, to be honest. Manbilly don't pay me to say anything, but I think it is the best one out there. Bog Pro, the Bog Def Grip and the Recon, they're fine, but £350, £500 for a tripod, you can get this for under 200 quid directly from Manbilly, delivered to your door, as it is now, without the sleeves and the pouch. But they're like 12 quid. You know, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. The other thing that I use, that I never go without, is this. This is the Nighthawk swivel bucket seat, obviously with the rucksack shoulder straps. Best investment I've made for a long time. That's a lie. My wife made this investment. It was a gift from her. So let's have a little look at what I generally take with me in here. The pouches on the outside, you've got four or five pouches. Keep most stuff you need in, just generally in hand. I keep my bipod in one of these pockets. I don't like to keep the bipod on the rifles. I feel like it throws the balance of the rifle out quite a bit. And it's something else to catch on, you know, bit of undergrowth, twigs, shrubbery, whatever. But if you're in a position where you're going to be using the bipod, it's there if you need it. Next pocket, I've got my hand calls. Most of these are from Best Fox Call or 3D Fox Call, one or the other. Just the usual ones. The little Banshee, that's quite good. You can get some good range on that. Foxes, when they're in the mood, they'll come from quite a far with that Walian Banshee. As with anything, if you know, foxes are fickle when it comes to responding to the calls. They either will or they won't. Don't be afraid to change it up on the day though, at the time. A good example was very recently, foxing out at night. Tried the Banshee, wouldn't work. Tried the mouse, wouldn't work. Tried the little rabbit call, it wouldn't work. And then I changed the pitch and the fox just changed his mind and came in from 150, 200 yards and ended up in the bag. So some people say don't bother changing. It's up to you, but I've seen evidence myself to say that don't be afraid to change at the time. If the fox ain't coming in, might as well try something else. That's my row call. Buck season is now upon us, so that's probably going to get used very soon. Maybe not this weekend, because I'm hoping to get out and get you guys some rabbiting footage. What else have we got? My gloves. Contrary to what a lot of people will tell you, there isn't a perfect pair of gloves. There isn't a pair of gloves that will keep your hands warm and you can stay completely dexterous. There isn't a pair of gloves where you can stay completely dexterous and keep your hands as warm as they possibly can be. These are mechanics gloves, you know, the fast fit version, 13 quid. They do the job. They keep the chill off and they're dexterous enough to, maybe not for air rifles, but it's certainly dexterous enough for the rim fire, the centre fire, you know, the 243, I've got no problem loading the magazine either through the top or directly into the magazine with the gloves on. Same with my 2.2, handling the small 2.2 LR rounds, load the magazine up fine with them, and they do keep the chill off just enough so you're not uncomfortable. This I always keep at hand. This is usually clipped to me. This is the Olight clip, the latest version, and for what you pay for one of these, you probably should be paying more, if I'm honest. Little USB there to charge it up. Really tough clip. Grips onto most, well, grips anything. It won't slip. I've not lost it yet. There is a little magnet in the back as well. You can stick it to the inside of the boot of the car when you're messing around after you've finished or whatever. It's got 3 modes. You've got your red light. Oh, excuse me. Then you've got your spotlight. And then there's flood, all on a little switch, all on a little button, just here by the side. Like I say, it doesn't last forever. The battery isn't the longest lasting battery, but for what it is and for what you need to do with it, they're worth the money. In this pouch, I'm not gonna bore you too much with that, but it's a waterproof Mac. We've all got enough kit now that we probably shouldn't be getting caught out these days, but just in case you do get caught out, it's there. Very handy to have. Finally, on the outside here, secateurs, twig snips, super handy. If you shoot the way I do, I normally park up, walk into where I'm going with the bag and the tripod, plonk yourself down. There's inevitably going to be that awkward twig or that little branch that's just in the way of the muzzle, or it's digging into somewhere where you really don't want it. So very handy to have. Also good for snipping off the legs of rabbits once you've done what you need to do with them at the end of the night, if you're taking them home. Let's get into the main compartment now. So this bucket lid has an insulated outer, which I'm not sure it's necessary, but it's there. You know, it was 30 quid. Because I'm a bit of a chunky monkey, I did stick some extra foam in the top of there, just because I find I get a little bit numb sitting on the swivel seat for too long. So I just close the lid back up and sit on the top there. Lid pops off nice and easy, and in here is where I keep my shooting bag that I take out. I'll get into that in a second. Let's just move this down here. The other thing I keep in here as well is just a little medical kit to have at hand should anything happen. My opinion is what we do has the potential to be incredibly dangerous. You know, we're handling firearms, rummaging through, you know, the woods, across farms, past machinery and stuff like that, barbed wire. It's just handy to have a little kit there, just in case, you know. If you didn't have it and you needed it, it's not a good day for anybody, is it? Let's be honest. So this is the main bag now that I always keep in my bag. This is just it's like a utility bag from Amazon or eBay or something like that. In here I keep my ammunition for whatever I'm doing, 2.2 LR, 243, I've got the air rifle. Everything has its own compartment, bag, small pouch. It's all labelled up, and it just keeps it all together. You know, you haven't got stuff kicking about or rolling around. It doesn't make much noise when it's in there, then in the bag in your bucket. Seems like a long-winded way around it, but like most men, we like a good little pouch to put stuff in. Rear bag, if I do go down on the bipod and I'm doing some, you know, bit of longer range plinking, or, you know, I've got time to set up. I didn't really see the sense in investing too much in a rear bag, so this is just actually called a sand sock, but it's just a sock, odd sock from the odd sock drawer. We've all got them, filled with rice to whatever size you feel for you. Great rear bag. Also does double as a front rest if you happen to be stalking in on foot, and you have to take a quick shot. If you've got it to hand, stick it on top of a fence post, rest your gun on there, stop you scratching up your gun if that's how you feel. Also keep my lamping kit in here. This is the lamp I use, the IR. It's the Nightmaster NM1 SL. Also keep a little pouch with the spare batteries in. Just keeps, like I said, just keeps it all together. Keeps everything where you can find it at hand. Everything you see on my channel, night vision wise, I was using this. With the A50T, it creates a really nice clear image, really nice picture. I've got the 850 NM IR LED in there, not the 940. 850 will give you a better picture in your night vision device, whatever you're using. The 940 will be, because it's further into the infrared spectrum, it's more invisible to our eyes, like the LED, the red glow that you get. It's not as drastic, if at all, but I prefer the 850 because I find that it doesn't really spook anything that you're looking at. It's not that intrusive to them, and obviously it gives you a better picture when you're looking through your night device. Decent pair of binoculars. These are pretty budget. These were brought off Amazon. These were a gift a few years ago. They're not a name brand by any stretch, but for what I use them for my purposes, I don't go glassing across moors and mountains and hilltops and stuff like that. Everything I do is sort of like 500 yards and under. This is fine. I think it's important that people do still use glass over all the technology that we've got now. The thermals and such, they're great. Obviously, you can pick up your quarry much quicker, but it's important to keep your eye in, doing it the old school way, because it's a skill. It's a skill that, you know, it is valuable to you, because, you know, what if you forget your batteries, you forget to charge it all up, and it goes peak time on you. Rangefinder. I don't generally keep this in my pocket. This is why it's in the bag. I tend to, I'm sure like most of you, I have the same permissions that I go to time and time again, and you kind of get a lay of the land. You know roughly how far everything is anyway, and you can just sort of get in and get on with it. But if I sit somewhere where I haven't sat for a while, I'll take a few ranges of a few landmarks, and then create my arc of fire of where I'm shooting that day for however long, and then it'll go away. I only ever really use it when I've got the 2.2, just because of how pronounced the arc of the 2.2 is, obviously. With my 243, the ammunition I'm using, it's flat to about 250, so I don't really worry about it. If I look at something and think it's further than 250, just call it in or stalk in. I also keep my knives in here. These knives are what I use predominantly when I go deer stalking. I use two knives because, firstly, this knife is a really good knife. It really is. This is a Spyderco. Really good knife. Nice slim blade, very comfortable to use, incredibly sharp from the box. Gets through the gralloch nice and easy, and the bleed nice and easy. However, I don't like to run it through the ribs. This is why I have the age-old favourite of the Mora Companion, Mora Clipper, can't remember which. But the Scandi Grind on a Mora is designed for woodworking jobs, whittling, you know, cutting sticks, for fire making and such, which makes it perfect for whipping through a roe deer ribcage or muntjac ribcage, and it stops you knackering the edge on your finer knife. I'm not really one for having a do-all knife. I like to have the two, because if one does break, gets damaged, goes too blunt, you have got the other one as a backup just in case. And not only that, these are super cheap, so they're almost disposable. I've had this one for a couple of years now, but they are almost disposable, let's face it, at the price point. Little roll of duct tape. Comes in handy all the time. All the time. You know, sometimes the sleeves might slip on your tripod. You want to keep them up. You know, if sometimes I've seen people forget the spacers for their IR in the clamps, bit of tape around it, sorted. So always handy to have a little roll of tape. And then we've got the top compartment here. Zip it so it doesn't all fall out. Right, one thing I like to keep in here is just some sticky labels, some white sticky labels. Few reasons. If you're not too sure and you need to check your zero, you can stick them to pretty much anything. And not only that, keeping the white sticky labels, should you need to jot any information down in a hurry, you've got it there, because I always keep a pencil in the bag as well, just in case. Little bag there, if like me, you're getting on a little bit, heartburn is always there. It's always round the corner. So just keep a little bits and pieces in there, a couple of paracetamol, some heartburn tablets, you know, just in case. A couple of little knives there for any smaller work that I might need to do. Got to be honest, these don't really come out, but they're there just in case I need them. If you're shooting with someone and they've forgotten their knife and they go off and then you meet later, you can, you know, it's there. It's a spare, always spare. They don't weigh anything, they don't really cost anything. Why not have them? This is the Easy Unzipper. I think from 3D Fox Calls as well, because it's 3D printed, for unzipping rabbits, the Easy Cutter unzipping rabbits. For the 12 quid or so that they are, they might even be a bit cheaper. Really, really useful piece of kit. Only gripe that I've got with it, I know they've got to be 3D printed and stuff, but for 12 quid, put a Stanley blade in there, you know? Don't send one of these cheap little gnarly things out. They ain't that much cop. They do the job, don't get me wrong, but, you know, what's the cost of one Stanley blade? You know, put something decent in there. This is a spare battery for the Alpex, should the charge run out. Not that I've ever run out of charge when I've been out with the Alpex. You know, we all know they've got a long battery life, so just in case though. The old pull through, I think everyone should have theirs on them, whether it's your 2.2 or your centre file, whatever it is, you should have it. I also keep a spare LED for the Nightmaster. This is a white light. Sometimes I do switch over to red light, white light, and go the old school way, you know, lamp on top of the gun and pulling the trigger like that. Again, it's a similar principle to having the binoculars. It's just something that I think that we should all do, to be honest. Keep your skills honed, keep the practice up, because you never know when your kit might break. It might not. It might just suddenly stop working for whatever reason, and you've always got that little backup, and your night isn't completely ruined. The last thing I keep in here, that's my silicone grease. Always handy, you know, if it gets too cold or whatever, and it's just maintaining the kit. This is more for the seals on the lamp than it is anything else, but I have used it for other purposes. You know, when I feel like you get caught in the frost, bit of silicone grease or oil on the bolt of the rifle, just to keep you going through the night. That's it. I mean, in-depth review on any other kit will be coming to the channel as and when I get time to. So I've got a couple of rifles that I can go through with you guys and let you know more about what I do, and why I use that particular rifle, ammunition, you know, whatever. So thank you for joining me, guys. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Stay safe.